Reborn in Marvel, marrying Scarlet Witch unlocks overpowered treasures. Episode 51. You will regret it. Natasha Romanoff was about to retreat when she saw the robot chasing her coming out of the back intersection. Her expression suddenly changed. Ms. Natasha Romanoff, because you obstructed the operations of the Sentry Secret Service, we now have the authority to arrest you. At this time, a man's voice came from the robot standing in the front and center. Go. Natasha Romanoff ignored the other party's words and rushed directly towards the Sentry robot behind her. Although the Sentry robot is produced by Trask Group, it is actually controlled by the Sentry Secret Service established by the government. This department is on the same level as S.H.I.E.L.D. Theoretically, both agencies are departments with special powers of the government. The moment she got close to the opponent, Natasha Romanoff made a sliding tackle and slid directly between the robot's legs. During the process of passing through, a circular instrument is attached to the body of the Sentry robot. Zila. There was a burst of electricity from the round instrument. The Sentry robot twitched for a while and then crashed to the ground. Natasha Romanoff didn't even look back and ran towards the intersection where she came from. The three robots standing on the other side saw this and stopped holding back. A needle-like object shot out from the hand of the robot in the middle and hit Natasha Romanoff almost instantly. There was a thin line behind the needle connected to the robot's hand. Natasha Romanoff felt a pain in her shoulder, and then an electric current flowed through her body. Feeling numb all over, her body fell towards the ground. Fortunately, at this time, Annie ran out from the side of the street, immediately removed the thing inserted into her body, helped her up and ran to the side. Other side. After the Sentry robot, which was frozen by Annie, tried to break free with brute force, the surface of its body gradually began to turn red, and at the same time it released extremely high temperatures. The ice surrounding them melted quickly. The current Sentry robot has not yet reached the level of invincibility as it was in the later period. It can copy the opponent's ability by just touching it. Each Sentry robot has only one ability, and it is fixed. After discovering for the first time that Annie has ice ability, all of the Sentry robots sent by Trask Industries naturally have fire ability. After several robots escaped from the trap, they chased directly in the direction Annie left. After a few minutes, a total of 5 Sentry robots surrounded the two of them in a dead end. Looking at the blocked path in front of her, Annie showed an anxious look on her face. Oops. Natasha Romanoff's numb body gradually relaxed at this time. Pull out 2 telescopic sticks from your body. He rushed towards the robot behind him. All the high-tech weapons on her body have been used up. The pulse bomb just now was the last one. Waving the telescopic stick in his hand, the attacks hit the robot like raindrops, but all of this did no harm to the robot, which was made of alloy materials. Natasha Romanoff, who returned to her original position, glanced at and beside her and spread her hands. It seems my fighting skills are useless against them. It's up to you. After Annie heard this, she shook her head anxiously. No, I just overexerted myself and I can't use ability for the time being. Well. Hearing this, Natasha Romanoff put away the telescopic stick in her hand. Then, I can only pray that your ex-boyfriend and the director have the ability to rescue us from the Sentry Secret Service. She naturally knows the purpose of Nick Fury sending her to protect Annie. It's nothing more than recruiting Sue Mo. Of course, there may also be the purpose of recruiting Anne. After all, Annie is not weak after awakening her ability. Seeing that the two of them had nowhere to run, a group of soldiers walked out from behind the Sentry robot. The leader was a middle-aged man. Ms. N, come with us. The man ignored Natasha Romanoff. She has no role in the research of mutants, and even if she is brought back, she will probably be taken away by the people of S.H.I.E.L.D. in a short time. There is no need to bother. Of course, I don't know what crime I have committed. Do you have an arrest warrant? And calmed down at this time. She naturally knew that the other party could not have an arrest warrant, and the reason why she said this was to delay time. Hearing this, the man had a contemptuous smile on his face. These are not important. The important thing is that you are now very useful to our research. After saying this, without waiting for the other party's reaction, he waved gently towards the soldiers behind him. When the soldiers saw this, they took out a mutant ability suppressing collar and put it on Annie. Wait a moment. Natasha Romanoff saw this and stopped the other party. After hearing this, the man had a look of impatience on his face. Ms. Natasha Romanoff, you have blocked our actions many times. For the sake of your director, we cannot argue with you, but we hope you will not push your limits. Upon hearing this, Natasha Romanoff showed an indifferent smile on her face. I just kindly remind you that Ms. N's boyfriend is not an ordinary person. If you mess with him, I'm afraid you will regret it soon. After the last incident with Magneto, SHIELD naturally launched an investigation into the whereabouts of Magneto. After a period of time, they had initially deduced the whereabouts of Magneto and the others. Naturally, we set our sights on the Island of Death. There was no way SHIELD could hide the fact that the Isle of Death was purchased privately by Magneto. Moreover, during this period, through mobile phone positioning, they also learned that Sumo also often stayed on the Island of Death. Combined with the conflict between Sumo and Magneto, and the fact that Magneto was taken away, it is easy to deduce that Sumo subdued Magneto and moved to the Island of Death. After coming to this conclusion, Nick Fury's assessment of Sumo's strength has risen several levels, and listed the other party as one of the beings that should not be provoked. After all, the destructive power caused by the madness of mutants like Magneto alone is almost as good as mushroom bombs. As long as these people don't cause trouble, SHIELD will not easily provoke them. Of course, Sumo deliberately let the other party know these things. Showing some methods can help avoid some troubles. Just like what happened this time after SHIELD learned about it. The first reaction was to protect Anne. After hearing Natasha Romanoff's reminder, the man sneered. Regret? I'm afraid the person who will make our Sentry Secret Service regret it has not yet been born. Yeah? As soon as the man finished speaking, a space door slowly opened in front of him, and Sumo's figure walked out. Seeing his figure, Natasha Romanoff breathed a sigh of relief. He glanced at the slowly closing portal in surprise. I thought you didn't care about your little girlfriend. And on the side even threw herself into his arms. Episode 52. This must be all fake. It wasn't until half a minute later that Annie reluctantly left Sumo's arms. At this time, there was already a trace of tears in the other party's eyes. It's okay. Seeing Annie's expression, Sumo comforted her. It seems that in my memory, I rarely see this kind of look on the other side. At any time, the other person always had a smile on his face and looked untroubled. After all, with Sumo as her boyfriend, she has not encountered any setbacks in the entertainment industry. It seems that this time he really scared the other party. Only then did Annie notice Sumo's appearance. Wait a minute, how did you get here just now? I seem to see a hole with sparks coming out. Are you also a mutant? This is magic. Sumo opened his mouth to explain. Magic? You are a mage, and you haven't told me for so many years of dating. There was a look of disappointment on Anne's face. Actually. Forget it, now is not the time to explain this. I will explain it to you slowly when I get back. After speaking, Sumo looked at the group of soldiers and several sentry robots on the opposite side. It seems that you are really going to any lengths for research. Raven had told Sumo some time ago all the information she knew, but the information she knew was very limited. After all, she was imprisoned as a prisoner. Sumo originally planned to break through to the planet level, master the gods' telekinesis, and then find trouble for the other party. But he didn't expect that the other party came to the door first. After seeing Sumo's strange appearance, the soldiers, including the leader, felt a little guilty. But when he saw 5 sentry robots standing behind him, a glimmer of confidence surged in the man's heart. They are no strangers to mutants with this kind of ability. There was once a mutant experimental subject with this ability in the base. Codename Red Devil. Moreover, the ability of the person in front of me is still far behind compared to the Red Devil. The Red Devil's ability was instantaneous, and he was already lifted into the air before he could react. But looking at the opponent's ability, there is obviously a big delay. Asshole, we are here for the future of mankind. Aliens like you should not exist in the first place. Seeing the other party's confident look, Sumo didn't bother to talk nonsense to him. A slight wave of his right hand. A portal of huge amounts appeared at the feet of those soldiers. These soldiers fell directly before they had time to react. The other end of the portal is 1,000 meters above everyone. In an instant, like paratroopers parachuting, groups of soldiers wearing camouflage uniforms fell freely from the sky. The only difference is that these soldiers do not have parachute packs on their backs. Only 5 sentry robots activated their propulsion devices and floated in place. Of course, the middle-aged man standing at the front was also supported by a sentry robot and was spared death. The man looked at the soldiers in the sky and gave orders to the sentry robot behind him. Help! The remaining 4 robots received the order and wanted to fly into the sky. But Sumo, on the opposite side, obviously didn't want to give them this opportunity. The planet-level spirit psychokinesis envelopes these robots. Almost instantly, all these robots crashed. The remains of the sentry robots that besieged the White Queen last time have been handed over to the group of researchers under Baron Strucker. Although there is no way to imitate them yet, they have completely analyzed the structure of these sentry robots. Sumo naturally knew where the control centers in these sentry robots were. All it takes is destroying this control center to reduce these robots to a pile of scrap metal. The frozen robot slowly floated in front of Sumo and was put into the storage ring by him. As long as these robots are replaced with new control centers, they can become their loyal guards. The middle-aged man who was held by the robot watched helplessly as Sumo did all this, but was unable to stop him. After the robot disappeared, he fell directly to the ground. The severe pain woke him up. Illusion? Yes, all this must be an illusion cast by you. I won't be fooled. Sentry, attack. After saying that, the man closed his eyes tactfully. As long as it is not affected by the opponent, the sentry robot will naturally defeat the opponent. After all, the sentry robot is not afraid of psychic abilities. Looking at this scene, Sumo and others were a little bit dumbfounded. I didn't expect you to see through it so easily. Sumo stepped forward and slapped the other person on the face so hard that several teeth were knocked out. How's it going? It doesn't hurt at all. After saying that, he stepped hard on the crotch of the man who was knocked to the ground. The man screamed like a slaughtering pig. Hallucination, it's not real. The man covered his crotch and roared with blood foaming from his mouth. At this time, the soldiers who fell from the sky finally landed successfully. The sound of click sounded one after another. There were more blooming blood flowers on the ground. At this time, Sumo's eyes moved and he looked towards the sky in the distance. A group of file-size figures like flies appeared on the horizon. After a while, he flew in front of everyone. It's also a sentry robot, but this time there are 17 or 8. There is also a young man in a white coat sitting on the robot at the front. After the young man landed, he quickly stepped forward and helped the middle-aged man up. Captain Wayne, how are you? Lyle? Seeing the young man in front of him and the sentry robot coming to support him, the man had a look of disbelief on his face. How come? Only then did he suddenly realize that everything that had happened before seemed not to be an illusion. Looking at the pools of blood on the ground, Wayne looked at Sumo with evil eyes. Kill him. Not waiting for those sentry robots to make any move. Sumo had already taken the lead. Same. After destroying the control centers of these robots, he put all these robots into the space ring. After collecting it, Sumo said to Wayne with a smile. How could you possibly hurt me in the illusion I created? Hearing Sumo's words, Wayne seemed crazy. This is an illusion, it's not right, this is real, it's not right either. Ah. Captain Wayne was a normal person, but he was driven crazy by Sumo's continuous operations. The young man named Lyle also changed his expression at this time. Have you entered a fantasy world? After all, he knew the combat effectiveness of the sentry robot very well, and the scene of the other party dealing with the sentry robot was indeed too outrageous. Even Natasha Romanoff and behind Sumo were not sure whether what they saw was real or illusory. Natasha Romanoff looked at Sumo's back, not far ahead. At this moment, she really couldn't see through him. No wonder Nick Fury tried every means to win over him. With the opponent's unpredictable abilities, as his enemy, he will really be tortured to the point of collapse. Episode 53. The Sentry Secret Service Department sank to the bottom of the sea. Seeing that the other party had collapsed, Sumo had no interest in torturing the other party anymore. A huge amount of space door appeared at the feet of everyone. All of them suddenly fell downwards. And Natasha Romanoff were startled by the sudden weightlessness. But almost instantly, the two of them were hugged by Sumo. After falling out of the space door, they appeared in the sky above an island. Here it is. Natasha Romanoff looked at the buildings on the island below her feet, and looked at Sumo, who was close at hand with a look of surprise. Yes, this is the headquarters of the Sentry Secret Service. The Sentry Secret Service is located on this small island less than 1 square kilometer on the edge of Manhattan. The entire island belongs to the Secret Service. After receiving Sumo's affirmative answer, the expression on Natasha Romanoff's face also changed. "What you up to?" Suemo did not answer the other party, but gently landed on the ground and let go of their bodies. But Annie was now completely stuck to him, and it took a lot of effort to pull her away, provoking a resentful expression from the other party. Wayne and Lyle were not so lucky. It fell directly and hit the top floor of the main building on the island. This building houses the Sentry Secret Service offices, and the top floor houses a huge amount of conference room. At this time, the conference room was filled with high-level officials from the Secret Service. On the screen on one side of the conference room were huge amounts of information about Anne. The content of the meeting was obviously about how to capture this mutant. The two figures who suddenly burst into the conference room startled everyone in the conference room. After the smoke and dust dissipated, everyone carefully walked out of their respective bunkers and discovered that the two pools of objects on the ground could be vaguely identified, and they were the two people sent out. Oops. Look at the two people on the ground. The expressions of everyone in the office changed. It seems I came at the right time, everyone is here. A familiar voice sounded in everyone's ears. It was only then that everyone discovered that a figure had been standing at the window at some point. Natasha Romanoff and Annie, who were standing on the outskirts of the island, saw that less than half a minute after Suemo disappeared, the 10-story main building located in the center of the island slowly floated after a violent shaking. Then it continued to accelerate and flew into the air. After a while, the building turned into a small black dot in their sight. In the top floor conference room, everyone felt the building rising gradually, with horror in their eyes. At this time, the building has reached several thousand meters in the air, and even the air has become very thin. After a while, a middle-aged man who seemed to be the person in charge stood up holding the table. "What on earth are you going to do?" He naturally understood that all this was caused by the young Chinese man in front of him. "Of course, I will completely destroy your organization." "No, you can't do this. We are a department under the government. If you do this, you will become a sinner of the entire country." After hearing Sumo's words, the leading man warned with a stern expression. "Really, it's not important. The important thing is that you have to enjoy an exciting journey next." As soon as Suemo finished speaking, the rising building gradually stopped, and then the building began to freely fall downwards. In order to prevent the speed from being insufficient, Suemo also exerted a downward thrust. In less than 10 seconds, the flight speed of the entire building has reached hundreds of meters per second. The strong sense of weightlessness caused everyone in the room to cling to the roof, and they let out ear-piercing screams. They never dreamed that middle-aged people could still experience such extreme sports. Several older people had already gone into shock at the speed. "Have fun." Suemo raised his head and showed a kind smile to the people on the ceiling, and disappeared in a flash. On the small island, seeing the building accelerating and falling downwards, the staff in the other buildings panicked. They all drove towards the bridge connecting to the land. Natasha Romanoff and Anne, who were staring at this scene in stunned silence, felt their waists tighten. Suemo didn't know when he appeared behind the two of them. He carried the two of them and dodged, passing through the portal behind. When the three of them appeared again, they were already on the roof of a high-rise building. The two of them looked at the familiar island in the distance, and immediately understood that the three of them were in Manhattan, facing the island across the sea. In the sky above the distant island, the falling speed of the building is close to the speed of sound. In the blink of an eye, the building had fallen hard on the island. With a huge amount of roaring sound, a mushroom cloud rose from the location of the island. Alert sounded in Sumo's mind. "Kill the villain and get 142 points. Kill the villain and get 156 points." The beep lasted for a full 3 or 4 minutes before it stopped. 10 minutes later, the smoke dispersed. The cake seller. Natasha Romanoff looked at the island that was torn apart and slowly sinking under the impact of huge amounts of, and she let out an exclamation while walking. "Shield. Director's office." Nick Fury was holding a cup of coffee comfortably and looking at the slowly sinking island on the monitor in front of him. "Director, will it cause dissatisfaction with the Ministry of National Defense if we let it go like this?" Coulson stood next to him, a look of worry on his face. "Of course I will be dissatisfied. After all, the Sentry project is supported by the Ministry of National Defense." Nick Fury's dark face revealed a row of neat white teeth. "It's none of my business. The White House has clearly ordered that mutants enjoy the same rights as ordinary humans. It is these people who continue to ruin the government's reputation." Otherwise, we, SHIELD, would not have a single high-level combat force that we can use. Apparently, Nick Fury is not in favor of the Department of Defense establishing the Sentry Secret Service. You know, mutants have a variety of awakened abilities. There are some very powerful combatants among them. If these people are included in SHIELD, SHIELD's strength will undoubtedly be greatly increased, and it will be more able to handle some unnatural cases. But because of the existence of the Sentry Secret Service, mutants are very repulsive to government agencies. Until now, SHIELD has not been able to recruit a single powerful mutant. In this regard, Nick Fury is also a little helpless. In his opinion, the actions of those mutants were understandable. Even if it were him, after hearing about the deeds of the Sentry Secret Service, he would not be able to safely expose his identity to government agencies. This also leads to the fact that SHIELD can only cooperate with X Academy when encountering some difficulties that are difficult to solve. On a rooftop in Manhattan. Looking at the gradually silent island, Sue-Mo turned to look at Natasha Romanoff. Although I am following the orders of the SHIELD leader, I still want to thank you this time. If it weren't for you, Annie would have suffered a lot this time. After saying this, Sue-Mo stretched out his right hand. A pamphlet appeared in his hands. Consider this as a thank you gift. But this thank you gift is only for you. Remember to burn it after reading it. After saying that, he put the pamphlet into Natasha Romanoff's hand without any explanation, then hugged Annie and walked into a space door. Episode 54. New skills unlocked. Natasha Romanoff looked at the two people who disappeared before her eyes. He picked up the pamphlet in his hand and took a look at it. She didn't recognize the two Chinese characters for Thunder Knife on the cover. Opening the book, luckily, the content inside is all in English. After a few casual glances, Natasha Romanoff's eyes widened suddenly. There are only the first 5 levels of the Thunder Sword above. After practicing all of them, you can increase your power by 5 times. At the same time, this exercise also has the effect of enhancing physical fitness. However, the effect is much slower than taking the meat of ferocious beasts. Still, Natasha Romanoff couldn't contain her excitement. Her various fighting skills have almost reached the level of proficiency. Her only shortcoming is her physical fitness. If you could improve your physical fitness tenfold. Natasha Romanoff had no doubts about the hyperbole in the brochure. She had just witnessed Sue-Mo's mysterious ability. It is obviously impossible for the other party to be so bored as to use such a thing to deceive himself. Thinking of this, Natasha Romanoff stuffed the pamphlet into her chest as if it were a treasure and walked downstairs. She can't wait to go back and practice the Chinese Kung Fu. Sue-Mo and Annie passed through the space door. Also appears on top of a tall building. The reason why he chose to give the other party the secret book of Thunder Knife as a thank you is because this thing was generally very suitable for the other party. Of course, the main reason is that this thing does not cost anything. He could print as many copies as he wanted. The reason why he only gave the other party 10 levels was not because he was stingy, but because the storage ring was the only one that recorded 10 levels of secrets. He wrote these secret books some time ago and planned to give them to Sauron and the others. Hundreds of copies were made. Sauron and the others had been completely brainwashed by the White Queen's psychic ability. Even if Sue-Mo asked them to die, they would not hesitate at all. Give them the secret book, and when their strength improves, they can greatly increase the speed of helping him harvest points. And looked at the row of huge amounts of English letters standing in front of her. Trask Industries Group. This is the company that makes those robots? And also knew something about the development history of mutants and sentry robots. That's right. Sue-Mo nodded. Now that he has taken action, he will naturally not leave any room for the other party. At this time, in the building below, a deafening siren sounded inside the building. There are devices everywhere in Trask Group that can sense mutants. As long as a mutant enters within 100 meters of the building, he will be sensed by the device. Sue-Mo and Annie, who were standing on the top of the building, naturally heard the alarm sound coming from the building. But Sue-Mo didn't care. Instead, he walked downstairs with a calm expression. The surveillance equipment in the entire building was destroyed in an instant. As soon as they entered the top floor, a group of soldiers armed with firearms rushed out from around the corner. After seeing Sue-Mo and the other two, the leading officer pointed a compass-like device at the two of them, and a rapid beep sounded from the device. After confirming that the two were the invading mutants, the soldiers aimed their guns at the two. Hold your head and squat down. The leading officer issued a warning. Suemo was unmoved and still walked towards the crowd. Seeing this, these soldiers did not hesitate at all and pulled the triggers in their hands almost simultaneously. After intensive gunfire, these soldiers were horrified to see that all the bullets fired from the guns were suspended in midair. Oops, everyone avoid it. The officer roared in horror and dodged towards the room next to him. Although the soldier's reaction was not slow, it was still too slow compared to bullets. After a burst of screams, only the leader of the entire team survived. It wasn't that the other party's reaction was quick enough, but that Suemo deliberately kept it. Before the officer could rejoice, Suemo had already appeared in front of him. Where's your mind shielding device? In order to prevent the invasion of telepathic abilities, a psychic shielding device was established in the building of Trask Group. Mutants with psychic ability, within this range, ability will be suppressed. I don't. As soon as he was halfway through speaking, he felt a sharp pain in his shoulder. The severed right arm fell to the ground, and a flying knife with cold light appeared in midair, beside Suemo. There was no trace of blood on the flying knife. Ah! The man screamed. Suemo looked at the other party calmly. Give you another chance to organize your language. I said. The officer hurriedly shouted in panic. After a while, Suemo and the two disappeared from the room, leaving only a huge amount of ice sculpture in place. In just a few days, and outlook on life has changed by huge amounts. Thinking of the past few days, she doesn't have any good feelings towards these people who persecute mutants. The first time she killed someone, there was no fear in her heart, but a hint of excitement. The second floor of the building. Suemo looked at the huge device 6 to 7 meters high in front of him. There were 2 sentry robots guarding the device. I saw 2 people suddenly appearing in the room. The sentry robot makes an electronic synthesis sound from its mouth. ID card information not detected. Before the words could even be finished, the red light in the robot's eyes went out. Suemo glanced at the device in front of him. The entire device instantly gathered towards the center and turned into a huge amount of metal ball. As the mind-shielding device failed, a space door opened aside. On the other side, Emma, who was taking a shower, looked at Suemo on the other side of the space door, with a hint of helplessness on her face. He calmly took a bath towel from the side and wrapped it around his body. Boss, if something happens next time, can you please call me first to let me know? Hearing this, Suemo also showed a hint of embarrassment on his face. I'm sorry, I didn't expect you to take a shower at noon. A woman doesn't know how to take a shower. And on the side kept scanning the 2 of them with her eyes. Judging from her woman's intuition and the other party's calm expression, it was obvious that the relationship between the 2 was not simple. After a while, and looked at Emma, who had changed her clothes and walked out of the space door, and directly hugged Sumo's arm as if she was swearing sovereignty. Emma's eyes glanced at Anne's neck, which was raised like a fighting cock. He smiled nonchalantly. Then a silver light flashed in Emma's eyes, and her psychic ability swept around frantically. Trask Group. She murmured something in a low voice, and then asked Suemo. Boss, what need to be done? Take all the technical personnel and information away. Simple. Emma nodded. In the building, the researchers were stunned at the same time. After looking at each other, they began to organize the information in their hands in an orderly manner. During this period, the senior executives of Trask Group all stayed in place, while those as insignificant as the cleaners left directly under Emma's control. A few hours later, accompanied by the closing of the space door, there was a violent roar from the bottom of the Trask building, and it slowly collapsed. Back to the island of the dead. After Suemo handed all these people and the sentry robot in the ring to Emma, he took Annie back to the villa on the beach. After calling her family, Annie nestled in Sumo's arms like a baby. Dear, thank you. In her opinion, Suemo destroyed both organizations just for her sake. Naturally, my heart was moved beyond measure. Suemo put his arms around the other person's soft waist. You know, this kind of verbal thanks is not what I need. When Annie heard this, a different smile appeared on her face. Then do you want to try the cold feeling? Episode 55. Dream Parallel Universe. Shield. What, Sue did this? Nick Fury stood up from his seat in shock, staring intently at Natasha Romanoff opposite. Of course, I was right next to you. Natasha Romanoff nodded. From the moment Suemo took her directly to the island, she knew that the other party intended to show it to S.H.I.E.L.D. So she didn't hide it from the director. "Stop kidding, Natasha Romanoff, this isn't funny." Agent Hill on the side put one hand on his hip and clicked a few times on the screen in front of him, with an expression of disbelief on his face. "The signal you sent half an hour before the incident was still in Florida. How could it possibly reach the Sentry Secret Service in New York in a few minutes?" "I don't know the specific situation." Sue just reached out and drew a circle in front of him, and a passage appeared in front of him. Saying that, Natasha Romanoff stretched out her hand and imitated Sumo's movements and made two gestures. "I know it sounds magical, but it's true." After talking about it, Natasha Romanoff felt that her words were not convincing. "I believe what you said." At this time, Nick Fury, who sat back in the chair, spoke. "I once saw records about this kind of magic in a secret file." "That's right." Natasha Romanoff had an excited smile on her face. At that time, the other party claimed that this was a kind of magic. "It seems that I made the right choice again this time." A smile appeared on Nick Fury's face. The more powerful Suemo showed, the more S.H.I.E.L.D. would undoubtedly receive huge amounts of returns on their previous investment. In the single dormitory assigned by S.H.I.E.L.D. After reporting her work, Natasha Romanoff couldn't wait to come back here. He took out the booklet with the thunder knife written on it from his pocket and studied it carefully. The more she studied, the more excited she became. More than half an hour later, she came to the training room downstairs of the dormitory. Fighting training since childhood has made her control of her body almost perfect. "Come to the sandbag where you usually train." Natasha Romanoff recalled the first recorded power method of thunder knife. He slowly made a fist with his right hand and hit the sandbag hard. Wrong. The moment she punched, she knew that her way of exerting force was not right. After withdrawing her fist, she kept trying according to her feeling. Until 3 hours later. After throwing hundreds of punches, Natasha Romanoff almost gave up. In anger, he punched the sandbag casually. Subconsciously, he exerted force according to the method in the secret book. The two forces overlapped almost instantly. Boom! An explosion echoed in the training room. The sandbag in front of him burst apart under the huge amounts of force. Natasha Romanoff looked at her hands in disbelief. "It's really done." She excitedly took out her cell phone and wanted to call Suemo to thank him, but then she realized that she didn't seem to have Sumo's phone number. "I secretly made up my mind to thank him in person in a few days." Thinking of Sumo's previous instructions, she recited the contents of the pamphlet. "Then destroy it directly." Island of the Dead. Suemo was sitting in the training room of the Star Tower. After Annie stayed on the island for one night, she was sent home by Suemo. She has decided to stay on the island in the future, but before that, she has to return home to spend some time with her parents. There were not many people who died in Sumo's hands yesterday, but they were just ordinary people, and the total points they obtained did not exceed 50,000. These points are just a drop in the bucket for him now. However, this time, the breakthrough reached the planet-level master, the god's telekinesis. He felt that the dream walking technique should be able to be successfully used. He had already told Emma not to disturb him during this period. At that moment, the Book of Darkness appeared in front of him, and slowly turned to the page of dream walking. Suemo closed his eyes. The dream walking technique that had troubled him for a long time was actually performed extremely smoothly. The moment the spell is completed, Suemo only felt his soul flying out of his body, and then the dark book in front of him turned into a black stream of light, entering the center of his soul's eyebrows, and forming a magic mark on the center of his eyebrows. Then, the soul was sucked into a vortex. When he woke up, he was already standing in an inexplicable space. "Look in front of you." The spectacular scene in the distance made him couldn't help but exclaim. At the end of the void in front of him, there was a huge amount of a sphere, and a thick, glowing line extended from the sphere. After the line extends for a certain distance, a bifurcation occurs. After these two branches extended for a certain distance, they split again. By the end, the original ray of light had split into countless lines. These lines are thick and thin, like branches split from a giant tree, gradually spreading. Suemo learned from the records in the Dark God Book that each of these lines represents a parallel world, and the stronger the extraordinary power of the world, the thicker the lines. And those thinnest lines represent a world without extraordinary power. Look towards the lines of your own world in the branches. Like the trunk of a tree, it is particularly strong. It seems that the world I am in is the ceiling of combat power in these parallel worlds. Suemo sighed. From the records of dream walking, as long as you touch those lines, you can enter the parallel world corresponding to the lines. As for yourself in the parallel world, as a person who is 100% compatible with your own soul, you will naturally become the best carrier of your soul. The first time he used dream walking, Suemo planned to practice his skills in a world without extraordinary beings. At that moment, his illusory body flew towards the thinnest line. The moment he got close to the line, he felt a suction. The suction force was not strong, and he felt that he could easily break free at any time, but he did not resist the suction force. Instead, he followed the suction and plunged into this world. A feeling of dizziness came. When I wake up again. Suemo found himself lying in a room. Beside him lay a blonde girl with big waves. The special smell in the room and the wads of toilet paper on the floor indicated that a war had just occurred here. At this time, the blonde girl standing next to her stood up from the bed, showing off her figure in front of Suemo without caring. I have to leave quickly, Jim has asked me to go see a movie with him tonight. Who is Jim? Suemo muttered subconsciously. This dream walking technique is equivalent to occupying a magpie's nest and will not absorb the other party's soul. Of course, he has no memory of this body in his mind. But judging from the name, this should be a man. Going to the movies with another man? But since the other party said it in front of him, there should be no problem between the two of them. When the blonde girl heard his question, an inexplicable smile flashed in her blurred eyes. Of course Jim is my boyfriend. What? Hearing this, Sumo's face was full of questions, but he reacted instantly and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. In the parallel world, he still inherited the legacy of Wei Wu, the Prime Minister. I saw Sumo's surprised expression after hearing this. Okay, what are you pretending to be? I said I wanted to break up with him, but you didn't agree. Hearing this, Sumo's pupils dilated instantly. Holy shit. Episode 56. Zombie World. After a few minutes, Suemo looked at the blonde girl who was staggering away. Quite speechless. Sitting on the bed, he perceived his own strength. During the exercise, I have already discovered that my body in this world is already relatively strong among ordinary people. Otherwise, the battery life would not be able to reach more than an hour. But that's all. Mental psychokinesis can still be used, but it is limited by the strength of the body. Currently, it can only display the strength of an intermediate warrior. No matter how strong it is, it's not impossible to use it, but the body may not be able to support it for long before it collapses. Black magic is not affected by anything. After all, this is borrowing power. As long as your soul is strong enough, it will have no effect when used. It seems that after using the dream walking technique, the biggest reliance is black magic. Suemo came to this conclusion. Of course, with the nourishment of mental power, the physical strength is gradually increasing. According to the current speed, if it stays in this world for a year, this body can reach the peak of the god of war. But he didn't think he would stay in this ordinary world for a year. He took the mobile phone from the cabinet on the side. I looked at the time above. September 6, 2008. The time in this world is not much different from the original world. Suemo got up and went to the computer that was playing a short movie. Suemo began to search for some news on the web, intending to learn about this strange world. After a few minutes, Suemo closed the web page. This is indeed just an ordinary world, without Iron Man or Stark Group. Everything seems to be no different from the world trajectory of his previous life. At this time, there was a rapid knock on the door. Suemo put on his clothes, came to the door suspiciously, and opened the door. Standing outside the door was a somewhat fat young white man. The other person is similar in age to me, around 20 years old, with short hair and an anxious look on his face, covered with freckles. Sue, come with me quickly. Seeing Suemo opening the door, the fat man couldn't help but pull him up to a pickup truck at the entrance of the yard. Etc. Suemo broke free from the other party's arm without leaving a trace. You have to tell me where you're going, right? Although he doesn't know the other person, judging from the other person's words and deeds, he is probably his good friend. It's too late to explain, get in the car quickly. The fat man hurriedly opened the passenger door, pushed Suemo in, returned to the driver's seat, stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the pickup truck roared and sped off into the distance. Suemo hesitated for a moment and did not resist. Not to mention that the other person is like his friend, even if he is a bad guy, with his own strength, there is nothing to be afraid of in this world without supernatural powers. After the car drove a certain distance, Suemo also discovered something was wrong. From the surrounding situation, he easily knew that the villa he lived in should be located in the suburbs. The road in front of the door is usually rarely passed by cars. But in less than a few minutes, he had already seen a dozen speeding cars passing them. What happened? He looked at the fat man aside with doubtful eyes. The speeding car seemed to give the other party some sense of security. After organizing his words, the fat man opened his mouth to explain. Rabies virus, now the city is full of people infected with rabies virus. These people bite everyone they see. Even the police officers can't stop them. And from the gossip I got from the internet, the entire Boston has fallen. Rabies virus? Sumo's eyes twitched. Is it a zombie? Zombie? After the fat man heard this, a look of doubt appeared on his face. What are zombies? Before Suemo could answer, he saw two cars that had collided together at the corner of the road, billowing smoke. A staggering figure slowly got out of the car. Really a zombie? Seeing the other person's walking posture, Sumo's heart moved. When the car got closer, Suemo realized that he seemed to be thinking too much. This stumbling figure is the blonde girl who left her home not long ago, and the reason why the other person walks in this way is caused by herself. No wonder it looks familiar from a distance. As the car approached, the blonde girl also saw Fatty and Suemo sitting in the car. He waved hastily towards the two of them. Seeing this, the fat man controlled the car and stopped next to the blonde girl. Suemo and the two got out of the car. The blonde girl quickly stepped forward, hugged Sumo's arm, and explained. I wasn't speeding, he took the initiative to hit me, but the other person seemed to have fainted during the collision, and I couldn't open the door to rescue him. There was a look of fear on her face. Suemo ignored the other party, but stared straight at the other party's car. Although he couldn't see what was going on inside the car through the glass, the scene in the car still clearly appeared in his mind thanks to psychokinesis. The blonde should be thankful she didn't open the car door. At this time, in the cab of the car, a middle-aged man with a ferocious face was twitching violently. Moreover, he stared at this side and let out waves of low roars. What a zombie! His eyes were not surprised, but happy. Zombies pose no threat to him who can fly. And if you can get points by killing zombies, then earning points will become extremely easy. Thinking of this, Suemo couldn't wait to try it. With a thought, a screw inside the car came off the body and shot into the mind of the zombie with powerful kinetic energy. It's almost common sense for zombies to hit you between the eyebrows. As the zombie's twitching body calmed down, a system prompt came from Sumo's mind. Congratulations to the host, you killed the villain and gained 1 point. Are there really any points? Suemo had an expression of surprise on his face. Although there is only 1 point, how many zombies can there be in a world where a zombie virus breaks out? A conservative estimate is between 2 and 3 billion. If all these zombies were killed. Of course, these are just Sumo's conjectures. With his current strength, if he wants to clean up the zombies in the entire world, he doesn't know how long it will take. During this period of time, it is impossible for zombies to be without loss. But even if he could kill 1% of the zombies, he would still have tens of millions of points. Thinking of this, Sumo's lips became harder to suppress than AK's. The blonde girl on the side noticed the corners of Sumo's raised lips and tapped his arm anxiously. Stop laughing, help save people quickly. The other party's voice brought Suemo back from his thoughts, and he turned to look at the blonde girl beside him. Excuse me, what is your name? Hearing this, the blonde girl looked stunned for a moment, and then a look of disbelief appeared on her face. His chest also heaved with anger. You scumbag. I'm still in your shape now, and you actually asked me what my name is? Episode 57. The Taboo of Black Magic, Undead Magic. Harry, the fat man standing nearby, saw this and hurriedly came up to dissuade him. Alyssa, don't be like this, maybe I was just joking for you. Obviously, he and Alyssa knew each other equally. After Alyssa heard this, she did not refute but still stared at Suemo angrily. Listen to me, the most important thing now is to get out of here first. It's very dangerous in the city now. Harry spoke to persuade. The words just fell. From far away in the street, bursts of noisy sounds came. The sound seemed to be some kind of roar. Almost in the blink of an eye, dense figures appeared in the sight of the three people. Harry looked at these figures at the end of the road, and the expression on his face changed. This running posture was all too familiar to him. It was exactly those monsters infected with rabies virus. The two people running at the front were knocked to the ground by the zombies behind them in a moment. The rest of the zombies rushed towards the three of them. "No, leave quickly." After saying that, he rushed towards the cab. The blonde girl Alyssa looked at the scene in the distance and froze on the spot. Suemo stared at the running zombies. Different from the zombies he had seen in movies before, the group in front of him ran extremely fast, comparable to the world sprint champion. At such a speed, there is almost no hope of escaping from these zombies by relying on your legs alone. Alyssa also reacted at this time. Ignoring the driver of the colliding car, he quickly rushed towards the pickup truck. At the same time, he didn't forget to drag Suemo, who was still standing there. Seeing that the other party didn't forget to pull him in at this time, Suemo couldn't help but look at the other party. She also didn't expect that the other party would still be thinking about her at this time. Suemo pushed her gently. Alyssa fell into the portal that suddenly opened behind her. When she reacted, she found that she was sitting in the back seat of the pickup truck. "You two leave first." After saying that, Suemo walked towards the zombies at the rear like a leisurely stroll. Harry started the car and his expression changed drastically when he saw the scene. "Sue, are you crazy?" He stuck his head out of the car and roared. But then seeing that Suemo didn't stop, Harry slapped the steering wheel suddenly. Gritting his teeth, he drove the vehicle back and intercepted Suemo, who was walking towards the zombies. But before he stepped on the accelerator, he saw a horrifying scene in front of him. Suemo stretched out his hand and waved it gently. There was a villa on the right side of the road. All the nails on the wooden fence outside were pulled out, and hundreds of them were gathered in front of him. With a flick of his fingers, these nails flew toward the zombies in the distance. Considering the material of the nails, Suemo controlled the nails to penetrate through the zombies' nostrils and eyes, destroying the opponent's brain, and then flew out again. Less than 5 seconds. There were hundreds of zombies on the road, and they all fell to the ground while running. Harry, who was sitting in the car, had his eyes wide open. Wortfuck. Sumo's operation had a severe impact on his worldview. He opened the door and got out of the car, ran to Sumo's side, and looked at the zombie corpses covering a large area of ground in front of him. "Sue, just..." In his excitement, he pointed at Suemo and then at the zombies on the ground. His gaze switched back and forth between the two. Suemo turned around. "This is not a good place to talk." "Oh, yes." Harry also reacted. The roar just now may have attracted more of these things nearby. It's better to leave here now. Thinking of this, he and Suemo returned to the car again. With a roar, the car sped away. But in the following time, while Harry was driving the car, his eyes glanced at Suemo, the co-pilot, from time to time. Suemo fell into deep thought. In just a few seconds, more than 800 points were earned. Logically speaking, the speed of earning points is not slow. However, with his current physical condition, it cannot support him using psychokinesis for too long. Unless you spend points to exchange for some treasures to increase the strength of this body, not only will the points be wasted, but killing zombies will also be time-consuming and laborious. Etc. Suemo suddenly thought of a way. The Book of Darkness suddenly shot out from between his eyebrows. I flipped through it frantically in front of him, and finally turned to the last few pages. What is recorded in these pages is a branch of black magic, undead magic. Undead magic is almost the most evil branch of black magic. In the main universe, there are the guardians of Emperor Weishan and the Ancient One Mage. As long as the undead magic is cast, it can be easily sensed by both of them, thus ushering in huge amounts of trouble. This is also the reason why these magics have not appeared in the main world. Even Suemo had only glanced at it briefly in order to avoid getting into trouble. But this world is different. This is just an ordinary world. There is no Ancient One Mage, and it is not considered the territory of Emperor Weishan. There is no problem using undead magic. Soon, the Dark God book turned to a page with a 6-pointed star. That's it. An excited smile appeared on Sumo's face. The magic written on the pages of the book is called the Scourge of the Undead. A huge amount of magic array can be arranged within a certain range. After activating the magic circle, all living creatures or dead bodies in this range can be transformed into undead creatures. He can completely arrange a magic circle that covers the entire city and transform the zombies in the entire city into an army of the undead. At that time, the undead army can completely clean up the zombies in this world on his behalf. However, the arrangement of this formation requires some special materials, and auxiliary formations are arranged at the 5 corners of the city. Next, he first needs to collect the materials needed to make the formation. Put the magic book away again. Suemo looked up at the 2 people staring at him from the car. After seeing the strange book in front of Suemo disappear, Harry finally plucked up the courage to speak. Are you, magic? Suemo nodded. There is no need to hide this from them. Judging from Harry's past actions, he is obviously his best friend. Not to mention risking his own life to come to pick him up and leave. Just when he wanted to deal with the zombies, the other party drove a car to save him without hesitation. These 2 points alone made him know that the other party was definitely worth dealing with. Friends. The same goes for Alyssa behind her. Although the 2 were just acquaintances, the other party still did not forget to pull her when she escaped. Only then did Suemo realize that Alyssa in the back row was looking at him with excitement. What are you doing? Do you think I am material for learning magic? No, you are a muggle. Suemo rejected the other party without hesitation. If I really hand it over to the other party, I'm afraid it will harm her. Without the Book of Darkness and needing to borrow mana, she may soon become Sithorn's puppet. Wrong. He suddenly thought that since Sithorn could lend out magic, he could lend out the mana from the Dark Book. Anyway, with Sithorn, a power bank with unlimited battery life, the source of mana is not a problem. By then, those who borrowed mana should be able to get some points for the villains they killed. After all, he has done his best. No, you have to find a way to try it yourself. Suemo secretly made up his mind. Episode 58. It doesn't matter, just be more careful in the next life. Hear Sumo's words. Alyssa had a disappointed expression on her face. Suemo ignored the other party and turned to look at Harry, who was driving the vehicle. Where are you going? Judging from the route of the vehicle driven by the other party, it was obvious that he had planned where he wanted to go. It will get dark in an hour at most. Suemo also planned to find a place to rest first and collect materials needed to assist the formation. Go to the beach. As he spoke, Harry clicked a few times on the car screen and pointed to a certain location on the map. Judging from the news we received before, the safest place at present is the sea. A yacht I bought before is parked at this location. As long as we board the yacht, we will be safe for the time being. Suemo nodded after hearing this. Being able to afford a yacht, it seems that this friend of mine is still a rich second generation. Judging from the map, it's still 10 minutes drive from that location. And there happens to be a large supermarket on the road, where you can collect some food. His body is still that of an ordinary person. After traveling through time, he experienced 2 battles. His physical strength was somewhat severely exhausted, and he felt a strong sense of hunger in his belly. Without Sumo's reminder, Harry drove the car and parked directly at the entrance of the large supermarket. Apparently the other party had the same idea. At this time, the entire supermarket was in chaos. A group of people each pushed a cart with something and ran out of the supermarket. Wait for us in the car. Suemo gave instructions to Alyssa, who was behind him, then got out of the car and rushed into the supermarket with Harry. The shelves in the supermarket have been knocked upside down by panicked people, and the items on the shelves have been scattered all over the floor. Fortunately, the scale of the supermarket is not small. After people's frantic snatching, there are still a lot of things on the shelves. The 2 of them each pushed a cart from the door and joined in the crazy zero-yuan shopping. A few minutes later, the 2 of them came outside pushing a cart filled with food. Harry glanced at where the car was parked in the distance and his expression changed. Something happened. Without his reminder, Suemo had already seen the scene in the distance. At this time, a man pushing a cart and holding a gun pointed the muzzle of the gun at the car window and pulled the trigger in his hand. However, the scene where the bullet shattered the car window as he expected did not occur. The gun in the man's hand exploded with a loud bang, blowing out several of the man's fingers. A scream came from his mouth. The man covered his right hand and slowly knelt down on the ground. This is of course Sumo's handwriting. In an instant, the 2 people stepped forward. Suemo kicked the man away. The 2 of them poured the contents of the cart into the pickup truck, including the one being pushed by the man who was kneeling on the ground. Fortunately, the back compartment of the pickup truck is large enough to hold 3 large trucks of food. The man who was kneeling on the ground wanted to resist when he saw this. Harry took out a pistol from his body and pulled the trigger without hesitation. It was obvious that this was Harry's first time killing someone. After pulling the trigger, his breathing became a little rapid and his hands trembled a little. But the other party took a few deep breaths. The nervousness after the first murder was quickly suppressed. After getting in the car, Alyssa, who was sitting in the back, looked at Sumo excitedly. "Did you just do it?" After receiving Sumo's recognition, her longing for the mage became a little brighter. "It's really amazing." Soon, the car entered a yacht harbor on the seaside. Following the path in his memory, Harry quickly stopped beside a pure white luxury yacht. Sumo sighed as he looked at another car parked next to the yacht and a few figures flashing past the yacht from time to time. "It seems that someone got there before us and took your yacht as his own." Harry didn't panic at all. "Don't worry, this yacht has the most advanced anti-theft system. Without the key in my hand, they can't let the yacht move at all." After saying that, he took out another pistol from the storage box of the car and handed it to Sumo. "Although magic is very useful, this thing might come in handy." Sumo did not refuse, but took the pistol. The 3 people got out of the car. Several people in the cabin should have noticed the movement here. A man pokes his head out from the yacht. "Guys, this is our territory, I advise you to leave as soon as possible." At the same time, several black gun muzzles stuck out from the windows of the yacht. Obviously, he was showing off his own strength, causing them to retreat in spite of difficulties. After Harry heard it, he shouted to the other party. "Listen, I am the owner of this yacht, you bandits get off my yacht right now." After hearing his words, there was a commotion in the yacht opposite. Then the man who shouted before showed his head. "How can you prove that this yacht is yours?" Harry didn't waste any time and pressed a button on the key in his hand. The 3 sides of glass on the yacht deck are directly received below the deck, revealing the scene inside. Seeing this scene, the man's eyes lit up. Then he retracted directly into the cabin. Almost instantly, a tongue of flame erupted from the muzzle of the gun protruding from the cabin. The other party actually fired directly at several people. Sumo sighed when he saw this. The bullets fired were hovering in midair. "I just told you, there is no need to show mercy when dealing with these people." After speaking, he waved his right hand lightly, and all the firearms in the yacht flew out from inside and fell into his hand. Holding the gun in his hand, Sumo pointed at the hiding place of several people opposite. "Come out." The 5 people in the cabin had long been suppressed by Sumo's methods, and now their guns were taken away by him. In desperation, they raised their hands and walked out of the cabin tremblingly. Sumo and the other 3 slowly walked to the yacht with guns pointed at them. "Get off the boat." Hearing Sumo's words, these people breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Depending on the situation, the other party just wanted to take back the yacht and had no intention of killing them. Thinking of this, several people looked down upon them a little bit. "How can you be so merciful even after getting to this point?" Alyssa watched Sumo let the other party leave the yacht, hurriedly walked to his side, and spoke quietly. "We can't let them go, they just plan to kill us." However, these words were still heard by the leading man. The man quickly turned his head and waved his hand anxiously. "No. We didn't mean that. The glass window suddenly slid down just now, which caused us to accidentally pull the trigger with a shaking hand." A gentle smile appeared on Sumo's face. "It doesn't matter, just be more careful in the next life." After saying that, he directly pulled the trigger in his hand, and the automatic rifle sprayed out a tongue of flame. Nearly 50 rounds of bullets were emptied in an instant, and all the people in the distance were beaten into sieves. The reason why he let several people from the other side come ashore was not to let them go. Simply to avoid getting the yacht dirty. "After all, I have to stay here at night." The smell of blood all over the ship was somewhat disheartening. Episode 59. World War Z. Several people moved all the supplies in the car to the yacht. After a while, the yacht slowly left the harbor. Night. In a bedroom on the yacht, Sumo was searching on the computer. There are not many types of things needed to make an auxiliary magic circle. Mainly mithril. This thing is simple, but it is made of silver through a special secret method. But if you want to depict a magic circle that can cover the entire city, the amount required is very huge, requiring hundreds of tons of silver. It would be easier to say if they were rare in number. But such a large amount of silver requires looting several large silver storage warehouses to collect it. Obviously, there is no way to find the exact addresses of these warehouses online. You must find an expert in this field. At this time, a knock on the door came from outside. Then Alyssa walked in from outside, closed the door, and locked it directly. "Dear, do you need any special services?" "How special?" Suemo put away the note in his hand and looked at the other party's outfit. She didn't know where she found a pair of Angel Cost clothes of the same style as Lao Ma's ex-girlfriend. After coming in, she walked around in front of Suemo. Angel's free upgrade service can help you, the Archmage, strengthen your magic wand and directly upgrade it to purple equipment. Early the next morning, Suemo woke up to a knock on the door. Opening his eyes and taking a look at Alyssa, who was still sleeping, he got up and came to the door and opened it. Outside the door, of course, it was Harry, with the dark circles under his eyes. "I just received a broadcast on the radio." The other party reported a location, claiming to be the official fleet location, and calling on various ships nearby to join the fleet. "What do you mean?" Suemo looked at the other party and asked. "I don't count it in the past." Suemo nodded. The other party's ideas coincided with his. Just relying on these supplies on the ship, they can last at least more than a month. Moreover, if he wanted to, Suemo could fill the entire ship with supplies. There is no need to join the opponent's fleet. In such an apocalyptic environment, it is still unclear who controls these fleets. If you go up hastily, you may put yourself in danger. Although Suemo is not afraid of the other party based on his ability, there is no need to cause trouble. But Suemo himself planned to go to the ship to investigate. Judging from yesterday's situation, the zombie virus should have just broken out. If we talk about the current understanding of the situation in various countries and cities in the world, it is naturally these official agencies that know best. There may still be cities that have not been completely overrun by zombies. If there is such a city, you only need to find the location of the bank by following the clues from the bank store. But if there is really no other way, he can only choose the stupidest way. One by one, silver shops came to collect slowly. After saying hello to Harry, Suemo returned to the cabin, opened a space door, and walked in. On an ocean 200 nautical miles from New York, there is a huge fleet floating around, or a fleet is more appropriate. At the center of the fleet is an aircraft carrier. There were several cruisers and destroyers around, and the rest were civilian ships and yachts. Inside the aircraft carrier, in the fleet commander's room, a white man in his 40s, with short hair, was enjoying his breakfast. Although the end of the world has come, but Kevin's quality of life, which controls an aircraft carrier fleet, has not declined. "Pop a medium rare prime steak into your mouth." He closed his eyes and felt the sauce exploding in his taste buds. When he opened his eyes, a short-haired Chinese man was already standing in front of him. The look on Kevin's face changed. "Who are you, and how did you get in?" As he spoke, he opened his mouth to call the soldiers. "Shoo." Suemo put his index finger to his mouth to signal the other party to be quiet. At the same time, a black light flashed in Kevin's eyes, and his expression instantly became dull. Spirituality. A small spell recorded in the dark book. The function is similar to hypnotic ability. After it is used, the other party will answer truthfully no matter what you ask. Suemo calmly sat down aside. What is the situation in various countries now? Where did the virus come from and how did it spread? After a while, Suemo let out a long breath and stood up. Learn from the other person's mouth. At present, the military does not know where the virus comes from or how it spreads. Starting almost yesterday afternoon, nearly half of the cities in all countries around the world, including Boston, where Suemo is located, have fallen. And this morning, zombies also appeared in those cities that did not fall. According to this situation, by noon today, almost every city will have become a zombie paradise. After getting the news, Suemo did not hesitate. Stepped directly into the space gate. New York. On a remote street, Suemo stepped out of the space door. At the end of the street is the famous Fifth Avenue. Before coming here, Suemo checked on the internet. It is said that this street has the largest silver jewelry store in New York. As soon as Suemo walked out of the space door, he heard screams coming from Fifth Avenue. After hearing this, Suemo walked a few steps to the intersection. The streets at this time were already crowded with vehicles. On the road, countless zombies chased and bit the driver who got out of the car. He didn't hesitate, turned around and ran to the right. The silver jewelry store is located about 100 meters to the right. After running a few steps, he was stared at by several zombies on the side. The zombies roared and rushed towards him. Seeing this, Suemo waved his right hand lightly. Countless steel nails appeared around him, shuttling around him rapidly. Before these zombies could get close, steel nails penetrated their heads and slowly fell to the ground. Not far away, a family of 4 who were running saw the steel nails flying around Suemo, with surprised expressions on their faces. After realizing that Suemo Jojo was very safe, the man ran towards Suemo with his wife and children. "Save us. My daughter has asthma. As long as I can take us away, I am willing to give anything." Suemo had no intention of paying any attention to them, but after scanning their faces with his peripheral vision, he looked stunned for a moment. These people looked familiar, especially the man with medium long hair, whose face was 90% similar to Brad Pitt. Suddenly, a flash of lightning flashed in Sumo's mind. Zombies, aircraft carriers, Pete, a daughter with asthma. The title of a movie came to his mind. World War Z. Episode 60. The Fall of New York. It took more than 20 years. I have almost forgotten the memory of this movie. All I know is that in the end, the protagonist's family of 4 were taken to the aircraft carrier, and then sent to various places to find ways to solve the zombie virus. In the end, the male protagonist discovered that zombies do not bite patients with various diseases. As a result, a vaccine that disguises the disease was developed. After being injected, ordinary people will not be attacked by zombies. As for the specific process, he could no longer recall it. But it doesn't matter. In fact, it doesn't matter to him whether he knows the plot or not. Seeing the protagonist's family standing in front of him, Suemo hesitated before speaking. "It's safe to follow me, but it's up to you whether you can keep up." After saying that, Suemo ignored them and entered the nearby silver jewelry store after a running start. At this time, the silver jewelry store was already in chaos. Several zombies were lying on the body of a female clerk and biting each other. The clerk beneath them looked like she would not survive. Psychokinesis spreads around like a tide. With his current mental psychokinesis, he can only cover a distance of 50 meters around him. However, although this bank store is not small, it obviously does not exceed the scope of his psychokinesis. In an instant, Sumo discovered 2 women wearing work clothes in a bathroom near the corner. One of them is obviously different from the others. "I think this is the owner." Suemo stretched out his hand and waved a few steel nails through the zombie's eyebrows. Then the entire store, including the silver jewelry in the small warehouse behind, flew towards Suemo. With a gentle wave of his hand, he put it into the storage ring on his finger. "I'm still not sure if I can find the place where the silver is stored. Now that they're all in the store, I naturally have to put them all away." This ring was redeemed by him in the morning. The same as his original file size, it also has a full 1,000 cubic meters of space. According to the density of silver, the volume of 1 ton is less than 0.01 cubic meters. This storage ring is naturally more than enough to hold several hundred tons. The Ren family who were following Suemo were stunned when they saw this scene. "It's amazing. Where did those things go?" There were exclamations from his wife and daughter's mouths. Ren made a silent gesture. As a federal investigator, he had long discovered that these monsters seemed to have very developed hearing, and the slightest movement could attract those monsters. Although those monsters were like ants in the hands of this magical Asian young man in front of him, they could be easily crushed to death. But they rely on each other to survive. If they can't help, they can't cause trouble to each other. Suemo ignored the people behind him and walked straight to the bathroom door. The door opens automatically. When the 2 people hiding in the room saw the door being opened, they held their heads and screamed. "Shut up!" Suemo scolded. The 2 people who closed their eyes realized that the person who opened the door and came in was not that kind of monster. Seeing Suemo standing outside the door, they both let out a sigh of relief. Sumo's eyes fell on the Asian woman with ponytails among the 2. The woman is about 1.6 meters tall, and her skin is so fair that it seems to shine. "Are you the owner of this store?" The woman nodded with a confused look on her face. "That's right." Then the woman remembered to introduce herself. "Hello, my name is Kim Tae-hee." "Nanbang people?" Suemo was only slightly surprised. "But this is obviously not a good place to talk. Follow me." He turned and walked towards the wall behind him. At the same time, a space door slowly opened on the wall. When Kim Tae-hee saw this scene, she exclaimed, but immediately covered her mouth with her hands. Through the space door, you can see that the other side seems to be in a mountain forest. She stepped forward cautiously, stretched out her fingers slowly towards the space door, and after confirming that it was the real world over there, she took a step and walked in. Seeing that she had successfully passed through, the remaining Lane family and another female clerk walked in. After everyone passed through, the space door slowly closed. Suemo looked at everyone except Jean Taishi. It's safe here for the time being. It's up to you whether the rest of us can survive. After hearing this, Ren quickly stepped forward and thanked him. Thanks. At this time, his phone rang. After an apologetic look, he went to the side and answered the phone. Suemo looked at Jean Taishi and asked straight to the point. Do you know where there is a lot of silver? Silver? Of course I know, our family is in the silver jewelry business. She didn't hide anything from the person who rescued her from a desperate situation. But, can you first explain what those monsters that rushed into the store and the circle you just opened are? When Suemo heard this, he told the other party that the entire world had become a zombie paradise. What, impossible? Upon hearing the news, not only Kim Tae-hee, but also another clerk and Lane's wife also looked in disbelief. It's up to you to believe it or not. Suemo had an indifferent expression on his face. Seeing this, several people hurriedly took out their mobile phones. Since the outbreak of the zombie virus is still very short, the network and signals have not been interrupted at this time. They dialed the phone one after another. Only one other clerk's number went through. But before she could be happy, the sound of roars and chewing coming from the other party made her expression change drastically. No, no. The expression on the clerk's face changed drastically. Apparently, there was a very close friend of his on the other side of the phone. When Jean Taishi saw this scene, his expression changed drastically. Just at this time, Ren also came back after answering the phone. At this time, his face was solemn. He's right. My friend who just served in the White House has confirmed this. After speaking, he set his sights on Suemo. My friend will send a helicopter over at night to take us to the aircraft carrier. That is the only place where safety can be guaranteed now. Do you want to go with us? No. Suemo simply rejected the other party's kindness. Then he looked again at Kim Tae-hee, who was making anxious calls. Where is the silver hoard? There is a silver jewelry company right in Newark, which supplies almost 1/3 of the American silver jewelry market. Kim Tae-hee stared at the number broadcast on her phone and replied casually. Although she was very anxious now, she still had to answer questions about Suemo, her savior. Then she gave an address again. Looking at the call on her mobile phone that could not be dialed for a long time, she had a depressed look on her face. Suddenly, she thought of something and looked at Suemo expectantly. Can you take me away?